Student Rights in the 20th Century, Tinker v. Des Moines. This is a piece of primary source evidence and the background. A group of Des Moines, Iowa adults and students had met in December 1965 to plan a public protest against the Vietnam War. A group of junior high and high school students decided to wear black armbands from December 16th until New Year's Day to peacefully express their grief over the deaths of soldiers and civilians in Vietnam. The Des Moines Public School Director of Secondary Education sent this memo to the superintendent describing interactions with students who wore black armbands to school to protest the Vietnam War, culminating with the suspension of 5 students. This was filed in July 26, 1966, with the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of Iowa on December 29, 1965. It is addressed to Dwight M. Davis, Superintendent, and it is from E. Raymond Peterson, Director of Secondary Education. The subject are events leading up to the banning of armbands. The national news media indicated the armband's original intent was to protest to the U.S. government's policies in Vietnam. Later, it was changed to mourning all the dead. Then it included pressure for a Christmas truce. Monday, December 13th, Mr. Donald Haley, journalism teacher at Roosevelt, asked Ross Peterson, a student at Roosevelt, to talk to Dr. Rowley, principal of Roosevelt, regarding an article that he would like to write and have printed in the school paper relating to Vietnam. Not being able to find Dr. Rowley at that moment, Ross Peterson called Dr. Mitchum asking his opinion about the wearing of armbands and the publishing of an article in the school paper related to it. Dr. Mitchum asked the student to hold up on this article until someone could talk to him. Following this telephone conversation, Dr. Mitchum contacted me, and after some consultation with Dr. Davis, it was decided that I would call a meeting of the senior high school principals for 7:45 a.m. on Tuesday, December 14th, to ask them their suggestions for handling the wearing of black armbands, which was understood to take place on Thursday, December 16th. All of the 5 senior high school principals were in agreement to follow the procedure as was later outlined in the board minutes of the meeting on December 21st, 1965. The decision to which the principals came was the same as to which Dr. Davis, Dr. Mitchum, and I had come to the day before. The principals made this decision without the knowledge of how the central office felt. After talking to the principals, I called Dr. Mitchum to see if he wanted to talk to the student, Ross Peterson, or if he wanted me to talk to him. He suggested that since I was at Roosevelt, that I should go ahead and talk to the student. Dr. Rowley and I talked to the student, and we felt that it was a very friendly conversation, although we did not feel that we had convinced the student that our decision was a just one. Following the announcement to the students that armbands would not be permitted, one of the students apparently contacted the newspaper. The reporter then contacted school administrators for information. The reporter was asked not to write a story. The secondary principals were called to meet on Thursday, December 23rd, to see if they thought it would be wise to alter the previous decision. All who were present felt that we made a wise decision in spite of the public concern over one small aspect of our school program. The following reasons were given. 1. A former student of one of the high schools was killed in Vietnam. Some of his friends are still in school, and it was felt that if any kind of demonstration existed, it might evolve into something which would be difficult to control. 2. The schools hold appropriate assemblies on Veterans Day to honor the dead. Also, Memorial Day is recognized. 3. The principals were following standard procedure for what was considered inappropriate dress, haircuts, or other actions that attract attention. 4. Students at one of the high schools were heard to say that they would wear armbands of other colors if the black bands prevailed. 5. Principals felt that since the schools are made up of captive audiences, the other students should not be forced to view demonstrations of a few. 6. One principal reported a Nazi armband on a boy who came to school several weeks ago. When asked to remove it, he complied. 7. These students were sent home from school until such time as the students were willing to return without the armband. No student was suspended for a specified length of time. The subject of petitions came up for discussion. It appears that petitions are picked up if there is any disturbance. If they are of an internal nature, they are handled within the school. One of the principals stated that the person who originated one of the petitions that contained approximately 20 signatures came to him and asked that he destroy the petition. This petition was not addressed to any official or persons. There was another petition in support of the teachers who were named at the December 21st board meeting, and this petition was also picked up. At the next principals meeting, the principals will be informed that the students who were sent home for the wearing of armbands will be permitted to make up the work missed without delay. The following students were suspended: Bruce Clark Roosevelt, Chris Eckhart Roosevelt, Christine Singer Roosevelt, Mary Beth Tinker Harding, and John Tinker of North.